With a victory on Saturday, UT Rockets become bowl eligible as we welcome in Mike Robinson, the sideline reporter for the Rocket Radio Network. Mike Rob, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark.
Fruitful trip to Amherst as Toledo got the win over UMASS, and maybe we should just do a weekly segment. What has Daquan Finn done this week to move up the Toledo record books?
Oh, Daquan Finn has done everything. I mean, he's getting victories for the Rockets, so they're 5-0 now and since week one. He's moved into the first place of all-time rushing in a single game with 172 yards, and that's a record that stood for over 30 years. He's also the first place in all-time rushing for a quarterback for Toledo. He moved up 2 places after jumping, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Chuck Ely, and now he's in the 8th place, passing Chris Wallace and Tavares Bolden. And he's just now in the 4th place for most passing touchdowns in Rocket history, and that all happened there on Saturday in Amherst.
And not only was it Daquan Finn running the ball against the Minutemen, Penny Boone a big game as well, as UT really was able to ground it out, stay on the ground, and just really do what they wanted to against the UMass defense.
Absolutely, and that UMass defense was pretty stout. They were tough. They had good linebackers, and they had good coverage in the secondary. But you know what? It's the offensive line for the Rockets. Tyler Long and company, Rossi, Wagugu, these guys stepped up in a big way, creating lanes for Penny Boone to have his 4th 100-yard rushing game. That is great for the Toledo offense because they understand that running the ball sets up for the pass where they're hitting up one of the best targets in the country in Jawan Newton at receiver.
You know, for an offensive line to be successful, you got to have good chemistry. The guys on the line have to know what everybody else is doing instinctively, and there is a special chemistry with his offensive line right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and you got to love the way that, Coach Hallett has put this group together. You get to see guys like Devin Rogers, who was a defensive tackle, switch over, now is his 2nd year at starting at center. Show that toughness, and also just bringing these guys back from last year, doing the shuffle, having Vinny Scurry being one of the top players, in my opinion. He's an NFL prospect, having him up on the offensive line, having fun week in, week out. So they're moving bodies, watching Torres as well because he is really good at tight end, and he also helps out a lot in that pass game. I mean, a run game too. Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily all fun in the first half as UMass put a little bit of a scare in the Rockets in the first half.
Yeah, they came to play football. One thing that we love about UMass is their band. Their band was out there. It was band day. They were playing really well. And guess what? They had xylophones out there, and a lot of them, too. So I was excited. But more importantly, they came out ready to play. They had the energy. They knew they had to start fast. And that's something they haven't done in quite a while. They're usually a second-half team, but the Rockets showed up to be the second-half team, stumping out their fire from the first half.
Second half against Northern Illinois, particularly the 4th quarter, Huskies able to put up some points against the Rockets. UMass able to put up some points and put some yardage on the ground against the Rocket defense. Is that now an area of concern? Well,
you know what? They stepped up and played a good game of football. Don Brown, Dr. Blitz having things set up, and these guys played extremely well. And for Toledo's defense, that Coach Karras is the same way. He likes to blitz. He likes to protect the pass. Plays with a lot of defensive backs on the field. So there's going to be times where one-on-one tackles are going to come up, and guys are going to miss them, and then they're going to get burned for that. And that happened to the Rockets a few situations. They adjusted to it. They made great adjustments for that second half, and they really came up and showed up to play. But the Rockets are best when they play bend but don't break defense, and they did an excellent job of just stepping up, and especially with the role players on the defensive line.
Rockets stay on the road this week, much shorter trip as they head down to Muncie to take on a 1-5 Ball State team that Cardinals are not very good.
Yeah, they're struggling. Right now, they're fighting for their life, so they're going to throw the kitchen sink at the Rockets. And this is a little rivalry as well, although the Rockets have gotten over them for the past 2 times, one at home and one away. So they've got to figure out how to come back out here and really stomp on this team because they've got 2 quarterbacks. They got a lot of injuries going on, and they're young and they're inexperienced. The Rockets are coming in with all the explosiveness that they've had over the past few weeks, and they know that the Rockets are coming here playing at their top of their game. And this is just a shot in the dark for them, so Rockets got to be prepared for any trick plays.
I'm going to say that the letdown has got to be a concern for the Rockets as well. They need to keep that focus intact on the road because, as we just said, Ball State, their only wins against Indiana State, who Indiana State I think just serves to be a victory for other schools in Indiana. The Cardinals have struggled on every aspect of the game, but that's why we love the MAC. Weird things happen. Rockets have to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're 50% at home, so they're 1-1 at home. So it's not like they're all out. Their one win did come from their home facility, so they're going to be at comfort. They're trying to figure things out. And Coach said they're going to switch up this game plan and they're going to really focus on the things that they do well instead of trying to make this a 2-quarterback game plan. So we expect to see who at QB, not sure, but they're coming out with a really concise game plan for the Rockets, and they feel like they got some angles to attack us.
Looking forward to seeing the Cardinals in Toledo Saturday afternoon in Indiana. I want to thank our guest, Mike Robinson from the Rocket Radio Network. Mike Rob, thank you again.
Thanks for having me, Mark.